All right. So once again, welcome everyone to our Friday Spotlight feature. Today's content will be focusing in academic progress management. This is the slides, the agenda today. We will be looking at how to insert results individually into student profile, as well as enter results, but in a bulk list. And then I will then take you through the steps of how we can manage the whole assessment task, results, and the process in our system rather than, as opposed to your external LMS. Okay, so as I mentioned, the rest of the slide deck actually takes you through the steps that what I will be showing you in the actual application. So I would not go through this deck in too much details. I will upload this deck at the end of the session so you guys can have a copy if you do wish to keep. Okay. Now, coming into our system, the first one is how are we going to insert results into a student profile? Okay, go into student, search for the student profile, and then click onto this magnifying glass. Look for results. Obviously, you would have already, I think you guys will be very familiar with these steps already. You would have already enrolled the student into a subject. So this would have been listed at the bottom. Okay. So very simply, you can simply look for that particular subject. So click on this pencil icon, and then just simply put in the result. Say, for example, this is 72. And step away. The outcome will automatically be populated based on what you have set up in terms of the grading settings in the admin. Okay, so it will follow that. If there is any fee help that this student is receiving and your college is receiving, please make sure you go through this data as well. And once you finish that, just click Save This, and the results will be populated. So this is the most straightforward way of entering a result. But then it's also one of the most tedious way because you are not going to, if you have a class of 50, you're not going to do this 50 times. Correct? So I'm going to just go back here. To reset the results, simply click on this reset button. It will reset everything and click Save. I do apologize up front that I have to keep doing a few times of this because I am using the same set of students in terms of data. Okay, so this is how we're going to be uploading single results for individual students. All right. Next, we can then also upload a slightly less painful way is to upload them in the whole list. So we bring up a list of students, but then we still upload that individually, but then you will see the student all on one screen. To do that is to go into compliance, go into bulk update, okay, and then under update final outcome, this option here. So you will fill in the top part, the criteria. So we can navigate it to whichever campuses, right? And then I'm going to just leave it as all campus because my subject actually offers in most of the campuses. I will look for my core and then fill in my semesters and my term. These are the basics criteria. All right. We can then choose either enroll by class or by subject enrollment. If you choose class, then you would have to choose from which timetable, which batch you're going to be using. Okay, so if you have a few batches for a particular subject, then you have to choose which batch you are going to be marking off. All right, but if you're just choosing as a subject enrolled, so that will be simpler, it will be easier. Do that, and then choose which subject the student has been enrolled. So for example, I'm choosing this one. Immediately, technically you should click view, but the system is smart enough that it will pull all the student up from the student list at the bottom already. So all you need to do is select the student. You don't have to select them all. You can select them individually. Okay. Of course, if you click on this button, it will select everyone. Say, for example, I'm only wanting to update the result for student A, test 1, 2, 3. Let's scroll over to the end. And over here, I just need to put in my marks, step away, and I can update my mark. Okay, so it tells me now the student that has been checked has been updated successfully. So how do I check? If I toggle back to the student profile, under student A, you can see that my mark has now been updated. Okay, so the good thing is, though we still need to update the marks one by one, but you get to see your list of students in one go. Okay, so we can click here, update, and then go into update all my marks, and then just click update marks, and that way I'm updating them in bulk, in a way. Okay, so this is the second way of updating our results. This is particularly useful if you have a LMS that you use and then you want to upload the results. So useful way, but then it's still quite manual because you still need to upload them directly, one by one. Okay, so the other way is that we have another option here is to upload under academic progress. Okay, I'm going to toggle the steps a little bit. So the last two is the ones that we can actually import results from your LMS. Okay, either the assessment results or the subject results. But let me quickly go through what our system can show you first before we get to that bit. Okay, so under compliance, academic progress, and then go into set assessment task. So first we have to set up what sort of assessment or what sort of task we will be using, we will be introducing into for this particular subject. So for example, I can see that under monitor work, this is my subject. Now, mind you, this is now drilled into the subject level, not the course level, because assessments is always linked to subject, correct? So once I choose my subject, okay, and I can choose what sort of assessment type. Is it assessment? Is it Moodle, or is it online task? I choose assessment, okay, and then over here I have already set up. I want this to be called assessment 1, and then my description. This is a written assessment. Of course, you would put more details into this. All right, this marking type, it could be in a group. Maybe you have to do a few of these assessments before we can mark it off. All right, and then you can also choose instead of assessment B. So you can have a few groups of it. Student might have to do a group of assessment, group A first, before you can move on to do group B, and then before we can then mark off the subject. Okay, so this is where we use to control it. It is not mandatory, but the assessment name and description is mandatory. Okay, the release dates and the due dates, you can set up from here. So this is like minus how many days and from when the course starts that you can release the assessment, and from when after the course starts that the assessment will be due. All right, I must confess I am not very good in terms of counting days like that. So I usually will skip this part, and I'll show you in the next step where I can actually view the actual date. So to me, that is an easier way. So just for you to know, you can, if you want to, set your assessment release date and due date from this section, or I can show you in the next section. Okay. So overall, once we set this all up, just click Add, and we will add this assessment. You can add as many assessment or projects or literature, essays, whatever you need to, as many as you need over here. Once we have set up our task, we just go into task entry. This is where you will link your task to your subject. So in this case, I'm setting everything per se, and then over here. So I'm looking for my subject, which is monitor work operation. Okay, and my batch is here. So teacher is already being presetted. Immediately, the task that I previously set up will be listed down here. So all I need to do is to click on here, and then make sure all my fields has been set up correctly. And now this is the part where I can control when I want the assessment to be released and also to due. Okay, just for today's example sake, I'm going to forge my date a little bit, so don't persecute me on that, okay? So I'm going to say release on the 21st at 4 p.m. and I want it to be due back on October, say yesterday at 4 p.m. So this way, this assessment will have been released and due in already. So you can then go in with the list of assessments that you have created. You might not need to link them all. You might decided that, you know, after a while, maybe one or two of them is not necessary. Then you only link those that you required to the subject. So once you select that, you can either click on this icon here. Obviously, because I only have the one assessment, I can click this icon. But if you're linking a few assessments to the subject, then you might want to click this icon. Essentially, they do the same thing, except that this icon link only the single assessment, whereby this green icon, this green plus icon will link all the subject that you have selected. Okay, so if I click this, you see that immediately it will drop to the bottom list. Okay, now fast forward. When I go into task results entry, okay, this is where I will input the results. Assumingly, I have the assessment has been due and teachers have been, our professors have marked the assessment already. Okay, so from here, we have to choose the criteria, the subject, the batches, which assessment. Okay, so if you have more than one assessment that has been set up, maybe you have a project, you have a project presentation, and maybe you also have a technical based or essay writing or whatnot that you have listed, this will all be listed down here. So you will have to then go in to choose which one you are marking it off. So in this case, I only have the one assignment. So immediately system is smart enough to pull this out. Okay, all you need to do is, you don't have to, but then you can mark that individually. Say, for example, I just go select student A again, and then I just need to put in my marks. In this case, say 90. All right, I don't need to worry about the outcome. Again, system will automatically pull the outcome from how we were set up during grade at the admin page. Okay, so once we do that, we can simply click say, update and save. Okay, and then log assessment. So this is a process. So maybe your team, your admin, your student admin team will have gone in and either select all of the marks. Okay, so if I enter all the marks, I select here and click update and save, right? Then once they update and save, he or she would have said, okay, this is the final results. I'm going to log my assessment. Okay, so I'm not going to select all. I'm going to reset all my entry first and then select one. Okay, so once I've selected this, I will say I will update and save. Okay, then I will lock this assessment. Once I lock it, means I cannot make any changes to this results anymore. So I'll lock this assessment, and then this would then be submitted, or the next person, the next level up would come and review these results to make sure that, yep, all marks are marked correctly, these are all entered correctly, the outcome is correct. So usually who does this? I suppose it will be the DOS or the academic manager or the program manager, whichever layer next level up. Okay. Once we've done that, if they said, yep, all is correct, then we'll go and approve this assessment. Once they have approved this assessment, we can then simply go and say, transfer these results. So when we come over here, we notice that the results has been transferred across. Even the subject outcome, everything will come across automatically. Okay, so if you reckon that this is correct, then just click check all and then click transfer results. Okay, so now it tells you student results has been transferred correctly because it now comes out as green. So if I quickly toggle back to my student results over here and refresh my results, you will now see that this result has been updated. So it has been fully transferred across. This is what our system is capable of doing. Okay. Then next, if we come back here and says that, no, I don't want to set everything up per se from here, but then I do want to import the results. Okay. So we could have, there is two options here, import results, assessment results, and import subject results. Okay. Import assessment results, we can say half done results, like as in we don't have to do this from here to transfer the results directly, like entry here, okay? But we still need to set up the assessment. Okay, let me show you what it meant. So if I go into input assessment results, there's this two tab over here. We now set up a template. So we can use a blank template, right? But I will show you the one with data. So if I click on here, a control panel will come out. I have to fill in my correct semesters and all, and select the correct subject. I can choose all the classes if I have different batches. You can choose the correct, in this case, it's simple. I can choose only one batch. But if you have different batches and you want to mark them all at one go, just click all classes, all right? And then again, I only have the one task set up, but if you have a whole list of different tasks, just choose all tasks and then click download. Okay, so once I download, you will notice that it will come out in an Excel format. Okay, so now basically the assessment task, it pulls out the student ID, the course ID, the attempts, all the necessary details for you, the batches, the term, and as well as the assessment. If you would have set up 2, 3, 4 different kind of assessment, so each student will have the 4 different type of assessment listed down here. Okay. So this is another way of if you're controlling, not wanting to go through the steps of transferring results and all that in our system, if you mark it outside, you can then go in here and say, if I put in the marks, okay. So once I put in my marks over here, this is for assessment. I just need to click save. Okay, so I've saved this file. Okay, once I finish saving this file, when I come back to my system, I just click upload. Sorry, I got to choose a file first. Janice. Okay, looking for my file. Okay. Okay, sorry, I might have not saved my file correctly just now. Let me quickly do this again. I can put in also any comments I liked. And save the file. Okay. Okay, I'm going to choose one of the files that I previously saved and then just click upload. So immediately, these are the results that I have previously set up. Okay, and then once you've verified that this result is correct, just click import update. Okay, these results will then be imported into here. Okay, notice how the results will come in directly. Then from here, you will repeat the process of verifying, save up log assessment, approve assessment, and then transfer the results. Okay, little bit tedious, but then it saves you the work of having to mark through, right? So this is one way. And then if you say that I totally only have, I'm not using all these steps in mesh system, I have my LMS and I want to just quickly upload my subject, my results into the system, then you would come into here, click into import subject, select, I would say select generate data template. Okay, the reason why that I didn't select empty template is it will just give you empty. All right, with this generate data, it will also pull back all the student information for you as well. So it makes it a lot easier. All you need to do is to update the results into it. Okay, so I've select all this and look for the results that I want. Again, I have to select either the batch or I will just select all classes and then generate a template. Okay. So now when it opens up, it looks very familiar, very similar, but then we got to notice that the different here is this is not no longer the assessment, but more the outcome, the final results of the subject. Okay. So if I were to generate a empty template, none of this would be there. You will then have to fill in the student ID, course ID, so on and so forth. It will only give you the subject heading. So hence, this is why I say use generate results, use generated this data template, because all this will be populated for you. All you need to do is to put in terms of final results, say, I'm going to just say that all my students are 90. Yes, not realistic, but forgive me if I'm giving them some mock results. So I'm going to save this results. Okay. Right. So once I save that result, I'll come back here, click to upload the file. And then just click upload. Okay. Once I click upload, the results would have been shown out here. And if all is correct, I just select the student. And now I have to validate to make sure that the data is correct. So I just need to validate the results and say that they're all correct. Once they're all correct, I can import them directly into the student profile. So once I click this icon, import update data, they will all be changed to green. And if I come back to my student profile, see how the results is now updated as 90. Okay, I can even toggle over to say, let me search for my student again. And say if I just look for one other student, so the result is now being updated. Okay, so basically, this is the simplest way of updating our results into our system. Okay, so in my PowerPoint, actually goes through in terms of the first two steps. How do we upload the results in bulk and individually, as well as taking you through the steps of how to upload first set up assessment, the whole shebang of setting up assessment and marking it off in the mesh system. So what I've shown you just now is also listed in my PowerPoint slides. Okay, so this will be the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Let me quickly set this up so that I can attach this PowerPoint slides for you guys as well. All right, does anyone have any questions? You can post in the chat. So I've uploaded my PowerPoint slides. So if you like, you can download from there. And once again, just a reminder, this session is recorded and it will be posted into our YouTube channel. Okay, so one other small reminder is when you leave this session over here, there will be a survey feedback screen pop up. So we'll much appreciate if you can give us some feedback in terms of how the session goes. All right. So last chance, last call. Any questions, please post into the chat. Otherwise, this would be, I wish you a good weekend. End of my session. Thank you, everyone.